Is the 40p Asda chicken and mushroom flavour noodles any good compared to the pot noodle version, which is £1? Well, I decided to go over to Asda and buy one of these £1 pot noodles. Bearing in mind this is the smaller version. And of course we're going for chicken and mushroom flavour. We also picked up one of the 40p Asda chicken and mushroom flavour noodles from the Essentials range. Let's determine whether or not the 60p saving is worth it. Well, it's lunchtime and I've decided I'm going to have one of the chicken and mushroom ones from Asda. I'm going to start the day off by testing if this is actually any good and worth the 60p saving. Whilst I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, we can have a look and see it's 324 calories and 5.2 grams of sugar. Okay, so the kettle's now boiled. I'm going to take the kettle and I'm going to fill it to the fill line as suggested. I have to say it doesn't smell very appetizing, but it's not cooked yet, so let's give it a shot. So now I've just got to wait for it to cook. I did notice throughout that the smell it gives off is very minimal and it doesn't really smell of anything, to be honest. As you can see, there isn't really much mushroom in it. There's no sweet corn or added veg or anything like that. Now, before I give you my opinion on taste, we've got to prepare the other one, which is the pot noodle version, which is £1. We can see that the pot noodle version has 430 calories and 3.4 grams of sugar. Now, interestingly, the pot noodle version actually has a sachet of soy sauce included. So I'm going to take that out and I'm going to fill it to the fill line, bearing in mind that you have to cover it with the foil lid. Now this one, as you can see, has a lot more yellow flavour powder. So as I begin to fill it to the fill line, you can immediately start to smell all of the flavours that you're thinking of when you have chicken and mushroom. You can see there's plenty more mushroom and there's actually sweet corn in this one, which is a nice touch. I'm going to give it a bit of a stir after 2 minutes and it smells amazing, so much better already. I'm going to add the soy sauce sachet that they add to it, and I'm going to give it a bit of a stir, and then it's taste test time. So what was my opinion on the chicken and mushroom flavour pot noodle from Asda? Well, firstly, I just have to say it's completely lacking in any flavour and taste. It's very bland, you can barely taste any chicken and mushroom flavour in it at all. It almost tastes like you're just eating plain packet noodles. Now, this problem likely stems from the fact there's no sachet of sauce, and also there's barely any of the powder, which is obviously where the flavour comes from. Also, there's just absolutely no smell from it. From the moment I put the water from the kettle inside the pot, normally you'd expect to be able to smell something working or some of the powder dissolving. Honestly, I could not smell anything, and a majority of your taste is actually through smell, so that probably contributes to there being absolutely no taste. So the pot noodle is 60 pence more expensive, so for that I'd expect it to be at least double the amount of taste. Well, thankfully there's a load of strong flavours in here because there's lots of the powder. As soon as you rip off the lid, you can see the amounts of powder it has and lots of flavour. Also, a lot of the flavour comes from the soy sauce and also the fact there's more mushroom in it, so it really does add to the depth of flavour that you taste in. And of course with this pot noodle, you get plenty of sweet corn that's added, which actually adds a huge amount of depth of flavour to it. I mentioned before that I'd expect it to have double the amount of flavour. Well, honestly, this is night and day compared to the other one. The extra 60 pence is definitely worth it. But the whole point of Swap a Shopper is to determine if you should actually save the money and if this is good enough for you to make that daily swap just to save those extra few pounds every week. But honestly, if you can't afford the actual pot noodle, I would just change the product entirely. I wouldn't even bother trying to save the extra 60p. Unfortunately, there's just absolutely no flavour. It's bland. It's going to get the thumbs down from me. I would stick to the pot noodle version.